the way that this has worked is that every time somebody attacks Iran, every time Israel assassinates an Iranian, just like a few weeks, Khodai, who was a colonel in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, he was gunned down in front of his home in Tehran, 5 bullets, shot dead in his car. Israel, the Mossad did that. Last year, well, in late 2020, we had Mohsen Fakhrizadeh. He was actually a nuclear scientist, gunned down, shot dead in his car outside Tehran. And of course, we have Israel blowing up several of the Iranian nuclear sites, including Natanz, right? They worked on a virus in 2010, 2012, around this period with the Americans to sabotage the centrifuges. These are the tubes that enrich uranium. And between 2010 and 2012, what did the Israelis do? They assassinated in Iran 4 nuclear scientists, right? Murdered. So right now, after the nuclear deal was signed, we're in the era of the United States not cooperating. So Trump leaves in 2018. And what has Iran been doing? Tit for tat. This is the policy. So when Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was assassinated by the Israelis, Iran was like, okay, you know what? We're going to pass a law in the parliament, in the Mejlis, rolling back our cooperation. So allowing the IAEA to look at what's happening with these cameras inside the facilities, the additional protocol, Iran, nuclear scientists from the IAEA being able to just go into any nuclear facility they like, random checks. This is gone because you guys refuse to lift sanctions. You're letting the U.S. sanctions basically, ruin our banking sector, our oil sector. You're going along with that. You won't get the U.S. back in the nuclear deal. Okay. And on top of it, you're murdering Iranian scientists in Iran. They make you think that Iran is like building a nuclear weapon in some like janitor closet inside the nuclear facility. They just have bombs lying around, ready to be assembled. It's so absurd, right? It's so crazy. And Iran actually kept cooperating with them all the way, even after Trump quit. Every single thing Iran has done is always leverage. It's all about leverage. Iran does not do things, to antagonize. It's quite the opposite, actually. All the time they say, oh, look, Iran is enriching uranium to 20%, to 60%. But they don't tell you why Iran is doing that. It's kind of like implied that Iran is just evil. Like they just want to build a nuclear bomb. So of course they're enriching uranium to 60% or to 20%. They never tell you why. They don't tell you that Israel killed a nuclear scientist in Iran while he was outside Tehran. They don't tell you that the United States assassinated General Soleimani. All of these things, the sabotage at Karaj, the sabotage at Natanz. They were saying, for example, Iran is not allowing the nuclear inspectors to come to this facility at Karaj and install a camera. They don't tell you that the reason the camera is not working is because Israel blew it up. The camera was fine. They don't say anything about Israel blowing it up. And notice how they're so scared of, oh my God, the Russian forces at Chernobyl. Oh my God, the Russians at all these nuclear sites in Ukraine. They're crazy. They're shooting. They're firing. They're going to cause the second Chernobyl. But when it comes to Israel, literally blowing up, sabotaging multiple nuclear sites in Iran, they're fine with that. That's okay. No condemnation. That nuclear terrorism is okay because Israel is doing it, right? Can't criticize Israel. Oh no, the perfect Israelis. You can't say anything about them. Or, otherwise you're an anti-Semite. Yeah, okay. We know. We're tired of this game and the double standards. This is not going to work, man, because right now they've tried to basically say that Iran is stalling the nuclear deal. And you know what they say? They say Iran is dragging its feet over the terrorism designation because the US designated the IRGC, which is part of Iran's armed forces, as a foreign terrorist organization, FTO. Those are sanctions, right? The Iranians don't care about this. even if the FTO label was removed, the individuals in the Guard are also sanctioned. So that doesn't make a difference. The real reason that the nuclear deal, that the United States has not come back in and things have been finalized, is because the United States refuses to give Iran assurances. That's the part they don't tell you, because it's embarrassing. Iran just wants proof that it can trust the United States not to do what Trump did, not to quit the deal randomly, right? And impose sanctions and do all sorts of aggressive things. The Iranians told them, you need to give us long-term guarantees, even after the Biden administration is gone, right? So that we know we can trust you and we can cooperate here. The Americans said no. Then Iran said, well, can this administration at least give us guarantees? I said no. Can you believe this? Literally the same people that are negotiating, right? The United States that is trying to resume the nuclear deal refuses to give guarantees that it won't quit the deal again. Wow. I honestly admire the Iranians' patience, because I would have nowhere near this amount of patience.